another really fascinating thing. This amazes me when I come out here into Ghana and see these are yam mounds. And hugely hard work for the farmers to construct these mounds. And they do that because the yams, they plant the yam sort of tuber inside and then put the mound. And then here it's starting to shoot. It's starting to shoot out. We've got some more over here that are a little bit more advanced. Here we are. These ones are a little bit more advanced. The shoots are coming out, and these are really important for the farmers here. And why is that? Well, because they grow into these massive tubers that the farmers harvest. They grow cassava on these as well, but then they store these tubers during the dry season. And this is critically important for the farmers because here we have, right beside it, the corn crop. And they grow other things like groundnuts, peanuts, they grow soy. But most of the peanuts and the soy, those things mostly are sold. And they generate cash, what we call cash crops. And some of the yams are sold too. They get sold, but they keep a lot of these yams, which is the food that they use in the dry season. So the dry season starts around early December, and it runs through until the first rains come in around towards the end of April, let's say, mid to end of April. There's a few rains come a little bit earlier, but the rainy season really gets going. Normally really gets going end of April, early May. It's getting later, and it's also getting less certain. And the rains come and then stop, start again, stop. So it's becoming really difficult for the farmers. And so these yams are absolutely critical for the farmers because they store the yams during the dry season when there's no other food. And what typically happens is the farmers and their families move into starvation during that period from around February on. They keep some of the crops that they grow themselves, and then by about February, a lot of those crops are gone. And they've got a bit of cash, they can buy a bit of food in the market, but not much, they're very poor. And they go into starvation and they eat the yams and they eat the cassava. And I've come over here because this is a cassava field. There's a problem with this, right? The cassava and the yams, they're about 98% carbohydrates, right? And so during that period from February, January, February on, all the way through to when the first rains come in April, May, and even beyond, because the first rains, the farmers still haven't got any food to eat. They've got to grow the crops. The farmers are in starvation and they eat the yams. So the children in particular are not getting the proper nutrients. They're getting enough calories. They're getting 98% carbohydrate as their calories. So calories are not the problem, but the problem is lack of other nutrients like proteins and various minerals, fats. They're eating 98% carbohydrates. So while their stomach feels full, their bodies are suffering. And a study, I think it was from 2018 or 2019, revealed in the northern regions here in Ghana that 38 and 39 in the various regions was the average percent of children aged 0 to 5 years old mentally and physically stunted. This is a huge problem in this region. These kids who already lack opportunities to go to school are not getting the nutrients they need to build their bodies. And that's because the whole agricultural system is designed that they sell their cereals, they don't get much for it, the prices are generally awful. They've got things like the shea trees. I'm standing under a shea tree. The women harvest the shea nuts. That adds to their income. But as I say, desperately poor people who spend 3 to 4, maybe 5 months of the year living in starvation off these cassava and yam roots. So very impressive to see how much work the farmers have put into these mounds. Very impressive to see the size of the tubers that come out of them. But at the same time, disturbing to know that the farmers really suffer here. And so the work that we're doing on biochar, I keep coming back to it, is really to try and help them increase their yields, help them increase the quality of their soils, even bring more nutrients into their food. Although here with the cassava and the yams, it really pretty much is carbohydrates. That's why the Bambara project was so interesting, because it's a very high protein crop. They do grow it up here, but only in small amounts. We really wish we could encourage them to grow more. Anyway, that's a little snapshot from one of the from out in the field here in northern Ghana that I thought I'd share with you, just to understand the context out here of the farmers' lives. Beautiful landscape, But yeah, challenging for them to live. Thanks so much.